Alright, The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. Well, we're going to start on page, we're not going to read the forward. Rich Man Babylon. Bansir, the chariot builder of Babylon, was thoroughly discouraged from his seat upon the low wall surrounding his property. He gazed sadly at his simple home in the open workshop in which he stood, a partially completed chariot. His wife frequently appeared at the open door. Her furtive glances in his direction reminded him that the meal bag was almost empty and he should be at work finishing the chariot. Hammering and hewing, polishing and painting, stretching taut the leather over the wheel rims, preparing it for delivery so he could collect from his wealthy customers. Nevertheless, his fat, muscular body sat thoughtfully upon the wall. His slow mind was struggling patiently with a problem for which he could find no answer. The hot tropical sun, so typical of this valley of Euphrates, beat down upon him mercilessly. Beads of perspiration formed upon his brow and trickled down unnoticed to lose themselves in the hairy jungle on his chest. Beyond his home towered the high terrace walls surrounding the king's palace. Nearby, cleaving the blue heavens, was the painted tower of the Temple of Bel. In the shadow of such grandeur was his simple home and many others far less neat and well cared for. Babylon was like this, a mixture of grandeur and squalor, of dazzling wealth and direst poverty, crowded together without plan or system within the protecting walls of the city. Behind him, had he cared to turn and look, the noisy chariots of the rich jostled and crowded aside the saddened tradesmen, as well as the barefooted beggars. Even the rich were forced to turn into the gutters to clear the way for the long lines of slave water carriers on the king's business, each bearing a heavy goatskin of water to be poured upon the hanging gardens. Bansir was too engrossed in his own problems to hear or heed the confusion hub of the busy city. It was an unexpected twanging of the strings from a familiar lyre that aroused him from the reverie. He turned and looked into the sensitive, smiling face of his best friend Kobe, the musician. "May the gods bless thee with great liberality, my good friend," begged Kobe with an elaborate salute. "Yet it does appear they have already been so generous, thou needest not to labor. I rejoice thee in thy good fortune. More, I would even share it with thee. Pray from the purse which must be bulging, else thou wouldst be busy in yon shop. Extract but 2 humble shekels, and lend them to me until after the nobleman's feast this night. Thou wilt not miss them ere they are returned." "If I did have 2 shekels," Brother responded gloomily, no one could I lend them, not even to you, my best of friends. For they would be my future, my entire fortune. No one lends his entire fortune, not even to his best friend." "What?" exclaimed Kobe with genuine surprise. "Thou hast not sheckled in thy purse, yet sit like a statue upon a wall? Why not complete that chariot? How else canst thou provide for thy noble appetite? 'Tis not like thee, my friend. Where is thy endless energy? Doth something distress thee? Have the gods brought to thee troubles?" "A torment from the gods it must be," Bansir agreed. "It began with a dream, a senseless dream in which I thought I was a man of means. From my belt hung a handsome purse, heavy with coins. There were shekels which I cast with careless freedom to the beggars. There were pieces of silver with which I did buy finery for my wife and whatever I did desire for myself. There were pieces of gold which made me feel assured of the future and unafraid to spend the silver. A glorious feeling of contentment was within me. You would not have known me for thy hard-working friend, nor wouldst have known my wife, so free from wrinkles was her face, and shining with happiness. She was again the smiling maiden of our early married days." "A pleasant dream indeed," commented Kobe. "But why should such pleasant feelings as it aroused turn thee into a glum statue upon the wall?" "Why indeed? Because when I awoke and remembered how empty was my purse, a feeling of rebellion swept over me. Let us talk it over together, for as the sailors do say, we ride in the same boat, we two. As youngers we went together to the priest to learn wisdom. As young men we shared each other's pleasure. As grown men we have always been close friends. We have been contented subjects of our kind. We have been satisfied to work long hours and spend our earnings freely. We have earned much coin in the years that have passed. Yet to know these joys that come from wealth, we must dream about them. Bah, are we more than dumb sheep? We live in the richest city in the world. The travelers do say none equals in its wealth. About us is much displayed as wealth, but of it we ourselves have not. After half a lifetime of harbor labor, thou, my best friend, hast an empty purse, and sayest to me, may I borrow such a trifle as 2 shekels until after the nobleman's feast this night? Then what do I reply? Do I say, here is my purse, its content will I gladly share? No, I admit my purse is as empty as thine. What is the matter? Why cannot we acquire silver and gold, more than enough for food and robes? Consider also our sons, Bashir continued. Are they not following in the footsteps of their fathers? Need they and their families and their sons' families live all their lives in the mines of such treasures of gold, and yet like us be content to banquet upon sour goat's milk and porridge? Never in all the years of our friendship didst thou talk like this before, Bashir. Kobe was puzzled. Never in all those years did I think like this before. From early dawn until darkness stopped me, I have labored to build the finest chariots any man could make, soft-heartedly hoping someday the gods would recognize my worthy deeds and bestow upon me the great prosperity. This they have never done. At last I realize this they will never do. Therefore my heart is sad. I wish to be a man of means. I wish to own lands and cattle, to have fine robes and coins in my purse. I am willing to work for these things with all the strength of my back, with all the skill in my hand, with all the cunning in my mind. But I wish my labors to be fairly rewarded. What is the matter with us? Again I ask. Why cannot we have our just share of the good things, so plentiful for those who have the gold with which to buy them? What I knew in answer, Kobe replied, no better than thou am I satisfied. My earnings from my lyre are quickly gone. Often must I plan and scheme that my family be not hungry. Also within my breast is a deep longing for a lyre large enough that it may truly sing the strains of music that do surge through my mind. With such an instrument could I make music finer than even the king has heard before. Such a lyre thou shouldst have. No man in all Babylon could make it sing more sweetly. Could make it sing so sweetly, not only the kings but the gods themselves would be delighted. But how mayest thou secure it, while we both of us are as poor as the king's slaves? Listen to the bell, here they come. He pointed to the long column of half-naked, sweating water-bearers, plodding laboriously up the narrow streets from the river. 5 abreast they march, each bent under a heavy goatskin of water. A fine figure of man, he who doth lead them. Kobe indicated the wearer of the bell, who marched in front without a load. A prominent man in his own country, 'tis easy to see. There are many good figures in the line, Bashir agreed. As good men as we. Tall blonde men from the north, laughing black men from the south, little brown men from the nearer countries, all marching together from the river to the gardens, back and forth, day after day, year after year, naught of happiness to look forward to. Beds of straw upon which to sleep, hard grain porridge to eat. Pity the poor brutes, Kobe. Pity them I do. Yet thou dost make me see how little better off we are, free men though we call ourselves. That is truth, Kobe, unpleasant thou though thought it be. We do not wish to go on year after year living slavish lives, working, getting nowhere. Might we not find out how others acquire gold and do as they do? Kobe inquired. Perhaps there is some secret we might learn if we but sought from those who knew, replied Benjamin thoughtfully. This very day, suggested Kobe, I did pass our old friend Archibald riding in his golden chariot. This I will say, he did not look over my humble head as many in his station might consider his right. Instead, he did wave his hand that all onlookers might see him pay greetings and bestow his smile of friendship upon Kobe the musician. He is claimed to be the richest man in Babylon. Banshir mused. So rich the king is said to seek his gold aid in affairs of the treasury, Kobe replied. So rich, Banshir interrupted, I fear if I should meet him in the darkness of the night, I should lay my hands upon his fat wallet. Nonsense, reproved Kobe. A man's wealth is not in the purse he carries. A fat purse quickly empties if there be no gold stream to refill it. Arkan has an income that constantly keeps his purse full no matter how liberally he spends. Income, that is the thing, ejaculated Bashir. I wish an income that will keep flowing into my purse, whether I sit upon the wall or travel to far lands. Arkan must know how a man can make an income for himself. Thou that supposed it something he could make clear to a mind as slow as mine. Methinks he did teach his knowledge to his son. No, Monsieur, Kobe responded. Did he not go to Nevet, and so it is told at the end, become without aid from his father, one of the richest men in that city? Kobe, thou bringest to me a rare thought. A new light gleamed in Bashir's eyes. It cost nothing to ask wise advice from a good friend, and Arkerman was always there. Never mind thou our purse be empty as the falcon's nest a year ago. Let that not detain us. We are weary of being without gold in the mines of plenty. We wish to become men of means. Come, let us go to Arkham and ask how we also may acquire income from ourselves. Thou speakest with true inspiration, Bashir. Thou bringest to my mind a new understanding. Thou makest me to realize the reason why we have never found any treasure of wealth. We never sought it. Thou hast labored patiently to build the staunchest chariots in Babylon. To that purpose we devoted your best endeavors. Therefore, at it thou didst succeed. I strove to become a skillful lyre player, and at it I did succeed. In those things towards which we extended our best endeavors, we succeeded. The gods we contend to let us continue thus. Now at last we see a light, bright like that from the rising sun, and bideth us to learn more that we may prosper more. With a new understanding we shall find honorable ways to accomplish our desires. Let us go to Arkham this very day, Bashir. Also, let us ask other friends of our boyhood days who have feared no better than ourselves to join us, that they too may share in this wisdom. Thou wert ever thus thoughtful of thy friend Bashir, therefore hast thou many friends. It shall be if thou sayest, we go to this day to take them with us. Chapter 2.